All right, time for some more quick hits.
Yes!
Manchester City have said they welcome the chance to clear their name after being charged with 115 breaches, mostly due to financial irregularities by the Premier League. It's a charge, of course, which, as we know, could see them docked a whole bunch of points, fined, maybe even expelled from the league. Jules, I can't resist the chance to be a little bit cynical here.
I know.
If they welcome the chance to clear their name and have overwhelming and irrefutable evidence of their innocence, why did they go to court twice to stop it? And why don't they just share all this information?
Exactly, Gab. And it's a bit what we said already on Monday. Like, you know, they didn't give all the documents and the information that the Premier League wanted during the investigation until they were forced to do so. And even after that, they were very, very reluctant. And if you've got nothing, if you do nothing wrong, nothing to be, to reproach yourself or anything like that, then you give everything. And the fact that they didn't want to give anything is not a good look. Like you said, like the fact that they tried twice to stop that investigation, going into court. Now let's see. Let's see. I thought their statement after was quite punchy in the sense like, yeah, great. We can't wait for this to be all over because we did nothing wrong and move on then.
Yeah, so I'm sure they won't do anything to delay it.
Exactly. And we love our conspiracy in football, Gab, of course. Some folks are saying that after investigating City for more than 4 years, the Premier League only brought these charges at that moment, so on Monday morning, because the government will soon decide whether the game should have an independent regulator or not. So like white paper about the governance of English football. What's the thinking there? And is there a point there?
So this is a popular theory. First, for those who don't know what an independent regulator is, the idea is that the government would come out and decide, no, Premier League, you're not just, a business organization like, say, the NFL might be in the US. You are some sort of social good. So we're going to appoint somebody, an independent regulator, who will have powers to control you on major issues in the same way that, for example, they have these in other countries too, for example, your electrical grid, or for example, the water company, right? Where you've got private companies, but then you've got some government guy who says, okay, these are minimum standards, minimum requirements, you can't change things this way and that. Premier League does not want that. They don't want to be controlled that way. Yeah. But one of the big arguments is, hey, Premier League, you are 20 clubs. Can 20 clubs police themselves? Which is why a lot of people in favor of regular. Personally, I am too. It's not just mention. I don't like sovereign wealth funds owning clubs, largely because sovereign wealth funds should be responsible to look after the wealth of the people of that country, not necessarily going into football. That's why good, well-run countries like Norway, for example. As we know, despite we tried to get Jan to get the Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund, which is bigger than PIF and bigger than the Qatari one, to buy Manchester United, that's not going to happen. No. So I can understand this, right? Wolves, of course, another problematic issue with their owners' ties to agents and George Mendes. But the thing here is, the logic is that, we're showing the government that, no, we are active, right? After 4 years sitting their backside. Whether it's true or not, this doesn't change the fact. They need to establish the facts of what happened. And the other point in all this, and some City fans have raised it, and I think they have a very valid point. This is not a sports case. This is a complex financial accounting case. And so they're looking at this and say, well, you're appointing a 3-man panel. Only one needs to be a lawyer on the panel. How do we know we're going to get justice? Shouldn't we have a more specialized court with people who are actually experts in this? I think that is a valid argument.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, because it's not a sports case, I wish people on all sides, whether City fans or fans of other clubs, don't cheer for this as if you were cheering for your team in the stadium, because it's not. It's got nothing to do with sports. Yeah. This is a case about potential accounting fraud. That's all it is. Yeah. In a similar vein, Jules, Murray Rosen, the man who will appoint the independent commission that will judge the Manchester City case, is, drumroll, an Arsenal club member. Should City be annoyed by this?
I don't think so. So we don't know what kind of. There's a red membership, it's called, for Arsenal, where everybody can join for £34 a season, where you basically, it's easier for you if you want to try to buy some tickets to go and watch the team. So I suspect he's an Arsenal fan, but if he was to appoint himself, which he can do, on the commission, then okay. If I was City, like, come on, that's not wise.
You think they should stop him from being a member of the commission?
Yeah. But I don't think he would have appointed himself on the commission either. But But if he does, I can see what City have a point. If he doesn't, I really don't think that this is a big issue here.
No, I think I actually looked at his profile. It's kind of funny because it says he's like obviously really interested in sports.
Okay.
He's a member of the MCC, which is the
Middlesex Cricket.
Yeah, so he's obviously a cricket fan.
Committee, yeah.
He's an Arsenal club member. Presumably, he's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
He also enjoys playing real tennis, the Sports of Kings.
Oh, real tennis,
you know,
jeu de paume. Jeu de paume in French.
With the crappy little rackets.
Yeah,
and I don't know. To me, it's more like...
History there.
What?
History.
But here's what you run into a problem, right? And we touched upon this before, saying this is not a sports story. It's a business and rules story. There's an argument to be made that obviously, he's the head of the Premier League's disciplinary panel, so or judiciary committee, or whatever it's called, right? People who are going to have some knowledge of this are going to be football fans, right? You're not going to find people who've never heard of Manchester City.
And in this country, everybody has a team. Do you know what I mean?
Well, most people. Some very posh people don't.
Maybe.
But the point is there's a trade-off, right? So I think you have to... What matters is that he enforces and he appoints people who will enforce and apply the law in a way that people understand and is fair. I think everybody has a past and everybody has a preference. This guy obviously feels confident enough to write it on his official profile at his legal chambers.
Exactly.
So that says he's got nothing to hide. So I don't think City will raise this point, and I don't think City fans should either, frankly.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.